Keep striving, keep learning, and never stop believing in yourself. For as long as you hold on to these qualities, Donna's weight of hope. Donna stepped out onto her snow-covered driveway in Toronto, the cold air biting at her cheeks, turning them a flushed pink. Winter was gripping the city tightly, the streets lined with messy slush and footsteps from hurried passers-by. She zipped up her puffer coat and exhaled, watching her breath evaporate in the frosty air. It was her daily ritual now, early morning walks, crisp and bracing, the first step in her fight to reclaim her body and, in many ways, herself. It wasn't just the weight that had changed Donna. It was everything that came with it, the self-doubt, the fatigue, the days where every reflection in every window seemed to mock her with its unfamiliar shape. She had always been a fighter, but this battle was different. This wasn't about a one-time surge of strength. This fight was about constancy, quiet resilience, and slow victories. Her doctor had said, 7 months, Donna. 1 pound a week. It's realistic. Realistic wasn't good enough. She had marched out of that clinic, determined to slash that time in half. 3.5 months, she calculated to herself. By March, she would turn back the tide, shed the baggage, literal and figurative, and uncover the Donna she missed so dearly. Her sneakers crunched against the icy path as she turned down the familiar neighborhood streets. Each step felt intentional and purposeful. 2 pounds a week, she murmured aloud, her breath visible like a fragile cloud in front of her lips. It was a manifesto she repeated whenever doubt crept in. The first week had been brutal. Her body rebelled against the restrictions, her stomach emitting growls of protest as salads replaced takeout and water replaced sugary lattes. She powered through each evening when she wanted nothing more than to devour a comfort carb and wrap herself in a blanket to avoid the world. When she stepped on the scale at the end of that first week and saw the number drop by 2 pounds, a fire flickered inside her chest. It wasn't much, but it was something, tangible proof of progress. Toronto seemed endless as she pushed herself further along her walk each morning. The towering glass buildings of downtown in the distance glistened under sunlight bouncing off layers of frost. She imagined walking there one day, her body leaner and her mind prouder. Someday soon, she thought as the cold flushed her cheeks further. But it wasn't just about the walks, the weight, or even those 2 pounds she obsessively tracked each week. It was about Donna finding her strength. She remembered the hospital days with bitterness, the chemical haze of bad drugs pumping through her, and the whispers of doctors assigning her to a bed she never wanted to lie in. She had made it through that battle, with scars to show for it, but she had survived. That couldn't have been for nothing. She started making small victories in her talisman. Skipping dessert at the family dinner last Sunday. Jogging half a block yesterday instead of walking. Avoiding her ex-roommate Diane's texts full of treat-yourself mantras that had done her no favors in the past. Above all, envision the number 144, her golden weight, her beacon, written on an imaginary banner fluttering at March's horizon. The steps forward weren't always as neat and steady as Donna wished. There were nights when she caved, sneaking a square of chocolate in the dim kitchen light, punishing herself with guilt immediately after. And there were the mornings when the weight glanced back up instead of down, defying her perfect plans. Yet, on those days, when frustration and self-doubt squeezed at her chest, Donna would make the long walk down by Lake Ontario, the wind harsh against her skin, and remind herself why she started. By January, Donna noticed a subtle shift in the mirror. She saw it in the way her jeans hugged her a little less tightly. She felt it when her knees didn't ache as much climbing the stairs. Small changes, but changes all the same. And with each one, the march to March felt a little less daunting. By February, she was down 18 pounds. Donna smirked at her progress, knowing she was ahead of her original schedule and closer to that elusive bodacious 144. She tried on an old, forgotten dress hanging in the back of her closet, one that she used to wear during sunny cafe visits with friends. It slid on more easily than expected, fitting snugly, not perfectly, but close enough. She didn't need a scale to tell her how far she had come. The mirror reflected it. And for the first time in years, Donna stood just a little taller. March would arrive, probably sooner than she was ready. Whether she stood on her unimaginable golden goal or a slightly different number didn't frighten her anymore. This wasn't strictly about reclaiming a body, it was about reclaiming control, hope, and pride in herself. She had not only shed weight but also embraced discipline, quiet courage, and an unyielding belief in her ability to do hard things. The snow continued to gently fall as Donna returned home, calves slightly sore, lungs filled with icy air. Outside the windows of Toronto, the city buzzed on uninterrupted. She was one person, a single fighter in a personal war, but for Donna, these battles she won, every 1 pound drop, every resisted dessert, every conquered step, felt like victory sweeping across the universe. It'll be 144 before I know it, she thought, stepping inside and closing the door firmly behind her. It wasn't a dream anymore, it was her reality to seize.